South Dakota. The Deadwood Arctic Cat Shootout. New location, though, up on the Terry Peak ski area. Plenty of snow. Temperatures are good. Visibility, well, that could be just a little bit better. I'm Paul Page. Greg Kramer is here. Jerry Bernardo is down trackside. As we said, temperature's good, 31 degrees, light winds, and snow is coming down. Now let's take a look at Pro Stock. And the way the points settle out now with a 5-point difference between Hibbert and Morgan, and Carl Kuster is right in there knocking on the door as well.
And take a look at how compact the top of that point scenario is, and it's because Blair Morgan and Tucker Hibbert, who have usually ruled the roost, there's been some competition for them this season from some of the other riders.
Here we go. Oh, there's trouble. Big trouble.
There you see Morgan, Paul. He's in trouble.
Here comes Hibbert. Hibbert down the inside. Ken Epson comes right back at him, regains the lead. Battle continues. At the front, Morgan already has begun to pull away on 7C.
There's Kuster, and Hibbert's coming after him now.
Ooh, almost unloaded it there. Tucker's still in pursuit. Blair Morgan way out in front. I'm thinking if I'm Hibbert at this point, I'd see the writing on the wall and settle for points.
That was a look back at how closely contested the first couple of rounds were, Paul. That's why those points are that close, and these qualifying rounds that we're going to see coming up become very crucial.
Yeah, here's the breakdown with 2 rounds of qualifying, 3 races in each of those rounds, and then, of course, the last chance qualifier if you screw all of them up and start in the second row, and then the race itself.
This is going to be the first round of qualifying for Pro Stock, and it's going to be Heat 1, and there is Tucker Hibbert, again in the midst of a good points battle here, but it's closer than he'd like, and they earn points in each of these rounds, and it's important to get a good finish. You see Tucker taking his normal inside line. He really likes that, but he does struggle sometimes with hole shots.
Here we go. The other nice thing about qualifying rounds, you get to see a lot of guys that are struggling hard, working hard, but don't always make it through to the end, so we love showing you this stuff.
Nice outside move around the top hole by Mike Island, who, remember, picked up the Bud Light ride after Kurt Peterson was injured. And Mike has been on form this season. I think that's Trevor John got around Tucker for second. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, and we've got 3 guys in trouble. Epson, Chabitsky, and St. John.
They've got skis and tunnels and tracks and everything. It's going to take a little bit of time to clear up. This is going to eliminate any chance for them to earn decent points in this first round of qualifying.
Mike Island, Trevor John, first and second. Island in what's really been a breakthrough year for him. Tucker Hibbert, now he's working hard on Trevor John, comes to the inside, and he's got him.
Trevor running as a factory Arctic Cat rider after spending a lot of years with Polaris, but he started on Cat, so he's back home. But it's been a bit of a change for him, and he's trying to make that adjustment. Look at Tucker close on Island.
Fight continues right there at the front. Tucker's coming up on the back end of Island now. Gonna go for a different inside line. That gets him a little closer. Mike Island forced well to the outside, catches one of the blocks.
Boy, Island's line on that outside is very fast, Paul. Look at how much ground he was able to make up on Hibbert. And Island, since he got hired for this year to move to Skidoo and the Warner Racing team, I think he really likes that program, and he really likes riding the Rev. Thinks it works well for his skills, but here comes Tucker.
You know, as Tucker takes the lead, and as you look behind them, I mean, we've been focusing on this, but Ekstrom and John have been beating on one another, too, in an ongoing battle for third place. Tucker, though, he's passed, and in typical Hibbert style, he's gone.
Over the big finish line jump, 3 laps to go, and you can see now, look at the fog starting to settle in. We had snow, now we're getting a bit of fog, and Paul, that flat light without any sunlight with the cloud cover and snow is bad enough. You bring fog in, I mean, you can see even with the TV here, you cannot tell what's flat and what's bumpy, and that can really mess up your psyche.
Yeah, exactly, unless you're watching on some double dip down high definition television, you probably can't tell any more about where the jumps are than anybody else can, but most especially the racers. And remember, they're doing it with cold wind going past, occasional fogging when you let a hot breath out into the mask. I mean, it's tough to see in these kind of conditions.
Well, especially if you get roost, too, from one of the other drivers in front of you. It just compounds it even more. So they're dealing with some serious issues out there right now. As you can see, this is a narrow ski run here at Terry Peak. It's very vertically challenged. That's Hibbert!
Tucker gets off the sled in the lead. Mike Island back to the front.
I think Ekstrom went by him as well.
Yeah, we were watching Ekstrom for a moment there as he was coming up to the front. So that changes everything. Island, Ekstrom, Hibbert gets going again in third. There's Mike Island, the leader. White flag is out. Coming to the finish now, and for the first time in the race, these guys are separated. Tucker's got to know there is no chance whatsoever. One little mistake, so incredibly costly.
Ekstrom taking her.
Wow! Ekstrom gets Island and takes the lead.
By the way, in some of the shots, you see some of that red laying on the track. That's actually Kool-Aid that the officials put out to help the drivers get reference points. Big win by Ekstrom, and Paul, that's what we've been talking about in terms of the points. Hibbert and Morgan haven't had it their normal way, winning a lot in qualifying. They've had little issues.
Welcome back to the Terry Peak ski area in Deadwood, South Dakota. You were talking about them getting all ready with the track and trying to help visibility. Check this out.
Yeah, that's that Kool-Aid, essentially, like a fruit punch, and they just put it down so that they have a reference point at the top of some of the big jumps. Really important. Good look there, Carl Kuster. 2 times in a row he's hit gold at Hillcross at Winter X.
And, of course, he is currently third in the pro stock point standings, and always somebody to keep an eye on.
There's Tommy Amasalo, and we had a shot there of Levi Lavallee. This is only his second race as a pro, Paul, and he has really shown some serious speed. Amasalo, he's been fast, but obviously, as we've said, the competition has all stepped it up.
Continuing to watch Pro Open qualifying. This is round 1, heat number 3. Visibility getting worse and worse, though.
Really is. I mean, the snow stops, and then suddenly that fog will come back in again.
I'm not wanting to be that guy that has to stand there with a flag at the end of the straightaway run.
Here's that long downhill drop. You see the chalet down at the bottom. That's Lavallee. Oh!
That was a big off by Kuster. Hard to believe the sled didn't get broken on that one.
Well, you've got this, there's an awful lot of snow that they have down here, and that always helps with. Let's go back and take a look at just what happened. There's Lavallee trying to work the outside line, and Kuster just cased the top of that one jump. The sled rotated on him a little bit. He just lost his balance, and off he went, and I would suspect visibility may well have played a role in that, Paul.
Of course, while we're watching Carl Kuster get back on the sled and get going, looks like the sled may in fact be okay. Up at the front, racing continues. Look at this battle. TJ Gula, Jim Beck Jr., and Yuji Nakasawa.
Tell you, Yuji has been on form ever since that program came together late. He really has been very impressive. Did a Minnesota regional race recently where he won everything in the pro classes. Obviously, some of the competition you face at the WSA Snocross Worldwide Circuit weren't there, but still in all doing a nice job. But he's taking a run at second.
Yuji goes after Beck. He's down on the inside. Had him for a second. Inside works. Yuji goes into second place behind TJ Gula. Beck fades, and now he has Tomi Amasalo beginning to think about him.
There's Gula now. The interesting thing about this track and the downhill run, the bottom of it is a V section of S's. It's sort of like a Gibson flying V guitar. You've got the long run up to the top, the hairpin at the top, then back down, and then there's a V section of S's, and then back up. And interestingly, Paul, because the run's so narrow, the finish line is halfway up the hill. You see it right there. Did I just see Levi Lavallee? He has pulled off. He apparently has a problem. It's caught him in the back of the screen, so things not going well for that rookie pro at this stage.
With just under 3 to go, Gula leads it. Then Yuji, then Jim Beck Jr., Tomi Amasalo still there working on Beck. That's this battle in here.
saw Nakazawa try and square up the corner, get a run underneath Gula, and he couldn't quite get it done. Gula used that outside as just a ramp and shaw. There's Lavallee.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's serious. Hood's up, and they're going to have to do some work on that sled. 2 to go now. Battle is still at the front. 2 names, Gula and Nakazawa, that more and more are getting mentioned in the telecast, and that, of course, is because their performance is getting better and better as the front of the field in WSA Snocross gets deeper and deeper. It's not just the Hibbert Morgan show anymore.
No question of that. Of course, remember, as here goes Nakazawa again trying that move. Remember, Gula's run at Winter X last year. He had that thing won until he had a mechanical problem with the sled, or so it sure appeared. So when Gula's on, he is extremely good.
Still fighting here at the front. Tomi Amasalo runs all by himself. Here he comes as the white flag comes out, signaling one more turn of the circuit to go.
Once Amasalo got by Beck, he's opened up a pretty good margin at that point, so he's running a lonely third. So really, as you said, Paul, this is the battle. And here comes Nakazawa.
Yuji wants this thing, and he wants it bad. You saw him push at the top of the hill. Now he's side by side, and Yuji Nakazawa is in front.
It's a great move now as they go through the last couple corners. Yuji, as he tried to get Gula the last 2 times, realized the outside line was the quick way, so he went for it that time and made it pay.
Good job, Yuji. Yuji Nakazawa takes the win. Gula has to settle for second. Amasalo will come across the line in third.
Here's a good look at Gula. Came awfully close to pulling that one out. Had a good run, and of course Levi Lavallee, problems for him, and there you see him. Looks like he's throwing chunks of belt out there, and now he's got a new belt on so he can drive it back, but that makes it awful tough to make it into that next into the final. And of course there's another round of qualifying, and if you're not in that top 3 positions, Paul, you're struggling.
Yeah, Ekstrom is leading in qualifying at the end of the first round, and as Levi Lavallee tries to get it going, he does. When we come back, we'll be watching Blair Morgan. Well, welcome back to Deadwood, South Dakota. And don't forget our coverage coming up of the Polaris Canterbury Snocross from Shakopee, Minnesota. 2 different times, one on ESPN, one on ESPN2. And don't forget, too, that Shakopee has had some awesome crashes, awesome racing. It's Snocross at its best.
Some of the incidents that occur there are absolutely unbelievable, and it is a very prestigious event as well.
We continue in pro stock qualifying. There's Sean Crapo.
Big story with him. Remember, he broke his leg at Duluth, and it healed much faster than he expected. He is back and ready to race.
TJ Gula, you saw him just a few moments ago in that great fight that didn't work out for him, but did work out for Yuji Nakazawa.
Gula, nonetheless, a second, some valuable points. Here's the guy that's struggling. He has got to put up a very strong finish in this round, Paul, to have a shot at getting even into the LCQ, because he didn't finish in that first round.
And, of course, as promised, here he is, the great Blair Morgan. Looks over so calmly down the line. Got some pretty major records coming up for him. Important benchmarks. There's the starting grid. Round 2, heat number 1.
Should be a good one, and Morgan has gone well to the outside. You heard all that popping. That's that new Polaris launch control system that helps heat the pipe. Morgan didn't get the start he wanted, Paul.
Not at all. In fact, he's lucky to be where he is. He almost got crowded totally to the outside. He now drops into a tentative 3rd place.
Meanwhile, there's Ekstrom, who really used that turn at the top of the hill to great effect and ramped around and picked up the early lead. And
Gula is off. 2 pieces of bad luck. Had to give way to Yuji in round 1. Now he's got it off. That's going to put him back in the field and take him out of what looked like it was going to be a great battle. You can see now that it's kind of broken off where we were looking some fighting before, and there's the man, Blair Morgan, sitting in 2nd place, just ahead of Levi Lavallee.
Boy, it says something. Oh, Brian Deerdahl has a moment, steps off the sled, is able to keep it upright and stay on it. And he comes out of Bagley, Minnesota. He's more known for cross-country racing, but thought he'd come out here in the early part of the season and do a little snow crossing. Very talented rider on the endurance racing.
That was costly, too, because he was a good, solid fourth behind this guy, Levi LaValle. Here's DJ Ekstrom. He's the leader, but Morgan's right there and just inching forward. But, you know, unlike, say, 2 years ago with Morgan, where you would have just expected him to come ripping in here, closing in, you know, a couple feet every corner, getting a little harder for him.
A little tougher to make that charge, absolutely right. And talk about Levi LaValle and luck. He doesn't finish the first round. He needs a really good run in his second round. And who's in the heat that he draws up against? Ekstrom and Morgan.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much tougher than that.
You know who are amazingly large fans of Blair Morgan? Al Unser Jr. and his father. They're coming to Winter X, especially just to see this guy and to see Snocross. They're massive fans of the sport. Think about that. That's 6 Indy 500 wins in 2 guys, and they love Snocross.
That's testament indeed to just where this sport has come, no question of that. And Blair Morgan, one of the real true reasons for that. There's no question of that. And again, as you pointed out, he still has not been able to make up serious ground on DJ Ekstrom, who's having a great run on the Polaris.
Morgan looking for lines, but Ekstrom's still very much the leader. Looking back now for LaValle. There he comes. Big separation back to third place. Trevor John now fourth. Durmas is the 5th place sled. Again, well back. 2 to go, fights at the front.
It is, and Morgan right now, you see, he's pretty much following DJ's lines, and what that tells me is that Morgan has concluded DJ's got the fastest line. Morgan's going to run it to catch him, but then he still has got to figure out some way to get around him. And with his visibility, we've seen Morgan seems most human, Paul, when visibility is not at its best, because he relies so much on using those eyes to pick out great lines that he could be struggling just a little bit. And you notice in that one turn, he gets in there very fast, but he floats way up and doesn't get the snap turn done as quick as he'd like. Now he moves way over to the side, almost off the course. Again, looking for a better entry coming down the hill here. And he still's having a little trouble. You see, nevertheless, he's there. He makes up ground under braking because he's going in so fast, and he's a great late breaker, but sometimes that slows down your exit of the turn a little bit, and that's where DJ is in control. But now Morgan is wicking it.
Morgan's right alongside, grabs it underneath, and Blair Morgan goes to the lead. Maybe not the aggressive, I'm going at him style that we have seen from Blair Morgan, but nevertheless effective as he takes a look first at the checkered flag. And Morgan takes the heat.
Well, I think, Paul, that was a great case of Morgan. He explored lines as Levi comes by, and that's a helpful third. Morgan explored lines, then used DJ's line to catch him, and then moved off and made the pack.
Welcome back. Pro Stock qualifying now complete.
It is, and the key there is take a look at Levi LaValle. That third place in that second round got him a shot at the final, so that was huge.
And what about the 2 guys at the top of the points order? Morgan and Hibbert.
Well, Paul, each of them has a win. Each of them has a second in these 2 qualifying rounds.
But the battle is still very close between these 2, and so opportunity to take a look up close at Hibbert and Morgan.
Good morning and welcome to Why Do People Fight? You know, there's a rivalry going on in the minds of the media, the masses, the fans at the WSA Snocross races that goes on between you and little Tucker Hibbert. Blair Morgan, do you really hate Tucker?
I do get along with him pretty good, but flag drops, you know, definitely I want to beat him. I'll stuff him over the rails if I have to. Typically what you're going to see on Sunday, you know, the Skidoos out front, Artie Katz trailing behind.
There's been a report in the media that you guys have this ultimate rivalry when you're on the track, though. Do you like him?
No, I hate him.
Do you like his outfit?
No, it's ugly, man.
Do you like the color yellow?
If you like...
You ever heard of smack talking? Now, I want to tell you one thing. Green is the color of money. So obviously, hello? See that 68? That means $68 bazillion is how much he's going to make this year, beating Blair Morgan and all the other guys in the WSA.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Arctic Cat.
A champion's greatness is often determined by those around him. Like Muhammad Ali had Foreman and Frazier. Bjorn Borg had McEnroe, if you watch tennis at all, which I don't. Back in the Octocat days, when Tuck was on Octocat, you also were. Did you feel like you weren't really ever going to be the man at Octocat because of Tucker?
Yeah, it was a little difficult having the two best guys on Arctic Cat at the same time, and you know, Tucker's dad working at Arctic Cat and that, so he was maybe getting a little bit of favoritism.
I think he had all the same opportunities that our team had, and we worked really hard to get our equipment working really well. So I think mainly he just wanted something new and a change of scenery.
In the WWE, they have these pseudo rivalries and pseudo fights. Do you wish it was more like that?
Nah, I think it's fake when it's like that.
I see you guys talking, hanging out. Are you guys buddies, or do you hate each other?
We don't hate each other at all, you know. In fact, I think today I've been in his trailer probably more than I've been in mine.
I think we're just professional racers who just keep the racing on the track and the emotions on the track. We're able to hang out afterwards.
We get along good. We joke around and have fun. We go out and practice and, you know, roost each other and block past each other and just kind of, you know, make sure we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, but you definitely pull way more chicks.
Yeah, I mean, who can pull chicks with red hair like that? I mean, come on, Blair. No, I'm just kidding.
He's probably right, you know. This kind of hampers on things now.
You should probably say to him, hold my trophy while I hug your girlfriend.
It's going to be good. Later.
Well, I think Hibbert wins the sunglass contest hands down. We haven't seen these two go head-to-head. We may see it now as the stock final is coming up to the line. There's Tucker.
Well, he won this class in Duluth with that great comeback drive to get by Epson. Morgan won it in Winnipeg. Neither of them have raced each other, as you pointed out, really head-to-head this year very much. So we'll see if that develops in this one. Crowd is ready, and looks like the racers are ready.
That final check. Everybody's good.
Boy, it looked like Ekstrom got a great start, and that should give him the Sport Tech Hole Shot Award. There he goes by the Sport Tech banner. So those Polarises continue to launch, but Island, did he get a start?
Ekstrom just checked out. Boy, he was gone, and gone so quick. Clean so far on the first lap, Pro Stock final. Bumping and bagging at the back. Everybody comes off good.
This time the guy, Paula, didn't get the start was Hibbert. I mean, Morgan didn't get a great start, but Hibbert's behind him. Kuster sits third, so he got a fairly effective start here.
Once again, take a look at that second place as Mike Island continues to show some of the strength he's developed over the past couple years.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was very impressive as a rookie last year, and as I said, going to Warner with their resources this year has been huge. And he is going after him.
Oh, and he got him. He didn't go after him. He got him good.
That's essentially the same line that Nakazawa used to get by Gula in that heat. Outside, up on that bank a little bit. You carry more speed in, around, and out. That's how he made the pass.
Blair Morgan joins the top five as Island and Ekstrom continue to battle at the front of the field.
And notice who's not in that top five. Hibbert's not there yet. Amasalo sits in fourth.
Again, it is still amazing to me the ongoing changes at the WSA.
Now, right at the bottom of your screen, sorry, Paul, there's Hibbert, so he's a couple of spots back. He's behind Nakazawa yet. That puts Hibbert 7.
I was just going to say that the fact that the guys who were just cleaning the sport out a couple of years ago, they're not quite as powerful. Brad Pitlick is off. Comes off the left side, the right side of the course,
yeah,
and gets back into the fight.
He just fell off the edge of that jump. He hit it wrong, tried to save it, couldn't do it, and tipped off the edge. But what I was going to say, one of the problems is nowadays, if you get the hole shot, you remember a couple years ago, Paul, Hibbert Morgan wouldn't get the, but even if they didn't get the hole shot, and here we go now, Hibbert has gone around Nakazawa, and he is now trying to chase down Morgan, and Hibbert's got a tail light. Brake light that's come unglued there. Obviously some contact out there, and that's Pitlick off again.
Pitlick again, but the battle continues here between Morgan and Hibbert. It's a battle for fifth place. Pretty precarious position for Pitlick down on the inside of the track. And now Carl Trubisky is off as well.
And he held up. You saw Laval. He got trapped behind Trubisky when he had his off. And your point about where number 90 Pitlick is, that's going to force a yellow flag, and you cannot race, you can't pass. And that's a huge passing zone that they're going to try and get that cleared up as fast as they can.
Rivalry renewed. Morgan and Hibbert continue to pound on one another for fifth. Morgan is fifth. Tucker, he'd like to get up there and snatch that away. Mike Island remains the leader now over Ekstrom. Tommy Amasalo has quietly been there.
Now you see what
Amasalo just got Ekstrom.
Oh, he down. Amasalo on the charge. There it is. Amasalo way to the left on the inside. And I was going to point out they've got Pitlick's sled right at the apex. They've dropped the yellow, so now that sled's part of the course. You can race through there.
Amasalo and Ekstrom. Amasalo, of course, got him a moment ago. DJ wants to get back into this when visibility still remains just terrible, and it looks like it's getting a little worse.
Yeah, you can see that fog is definitely starting to settle in a little bit, and you can see in certain spots why that red that they put down at the top of some of these jumps is so helpful for these guys in these conditions right now.
Yeah, and a tip of the hat to the course workers who volunteer. They stand by the edge despite these conditions. Halfway point. Look at this fight.
This is the fight for fourth. It's Kuster, Morgan, and Hibbert trying the way outside. And I think Hibbert, well, for a moment there he had the launch, but Morgan, Paul, really found a line on the inside. He's by.
Kuster, Morgan, Hibbert goes up for the high side. Will that line clean him out? They can't really lay the power down like he would like.
Now this outside line is where other people have made a pass down into this turn. Hibbert tries to cut underneath.
No, can't do it. Can't do it at all. Blair Morgan remains in fourth place.
I tell you.
Great, though, seeing these two guys back at one another again.
Well, you're seeing two different styles here in the sense as we have, 5 laps to go. There's still plenty of racing. Morgan is a huge late breaker. He carries so much speed into corners. It's really tough to pass Morgan into a corner. Hibbert, on the other hand, tends to get the power down a little sooner on the exit of the turns. And this is a great study in contrast here of speed in, speed out, and mid-corner speed as well.
Back at the front of the field. Amasalo, that's Levi Lavelli that they have to split to go around. You know, considering visibility, again, we're seeing some stuff that's right on the edge. You come over the top of a hill, you just barely see somebody with all the flat light and the snow and visibility. You get a situation like that, kind of takes your breath away. Here's Mike Island.
Oh, Mike Island, I tell you, he has been so strong this season. And he's showing it here. Look at this move. That's Morgan going after third, Paul.
Morgan goes after Ekstrom for third. Hibbert's right there. He continues to follow Morgan. He picks the line behind Blair. No dummy, this kid. Tommy Amasalo, second place. They're going to be overhauling him pretty soon if he doesn't look out.
The battle that these guys are putting up right now, the speed is drawing them up toward the front of this pack and doing it in a big hurry. As a matter of fact, Ekstrom now feeling the heat from that battle right behind him. Morgan actually taps him.
Morgan comes up, bumps the back end of DJ Ekstrom. Hibbert again selects a line more closely aligned to Blair Morgan.
Oh, they touch! They touch and Hibbert's off! They tried to go basically 3 abreast on that downhill run. Hibbert and Morgan just touched a little bit. Hibbert being on the outside, that was it. He's off the outside edge of the track.
Quick, Bernardo, run out there and ask Hibbert if he still likes Morgan all that much.
That allows Ekstrom now up into fourth, and that's going to put the onus on Tucker to throw in some flying laps right now. That's Trevor John right there. I think that Amasalo is trying to get by.
Mike Island still showing incredible style here on number 8. Out in front, Amasalo trying to work him, and Blair Morgan, after the tap, is separated from Tucker Hibbert by the sled of DJ Ekstrom.
Matter of fact, Island lapping so far up through the pack, he just put a lap on Yuji Nakazawa. It tells you the pace that this young guy's throwing at things right now. See the broken ski loop on the right side. That's okay. You got to start the race with your ski loops, but obviously contact during the course of a race, things happen. Should not be a problem. There's Amasalo, and there's Blair Morgan closing in a big hurry.
Yeah, closing, but I'm not so sure. Amasalo takes a look.
Ooh, and he parked Morgan. He actually drifted across and took the line that Morgan was thinking about, and I mean, he just stalled Morgan's attack. And one thing you're not going to do with Tommy is intimidate him. He's a big, big boy, and he'll fight hard and turn across you if he has to.
Mike Island looks at the checkered flag, takes the win. Oh, there's going to be a happy guy.
Look at that, a little heel clicker at the line.
Yeah, boy.
His first win as a WSA Pro in a big final.
And Blair Morgan with a charge at the last after his battle with Tucker Hibbert comes across in second place.
Well,
Oh, yeah. I'm your fan. Nice going. First win of his pro career for Mike Island. They got to make sure. Here's the drill. You got to know where to go.
That was WSA's Randy Herman telling him, head back around because you're going to get out there and probably get yourself a little victory lap.
Little discussion there of that tap in midair. You think?
Well, very possible. It certainly wasn't anything intentional. It just, that's 3 wide on a narrow straight down the hill. That's what's going to happen.
A lot of good stuff during this run.
Now, this was the pass here that Island laid on DJ. Remember, we talked about it. Same move that Nakazawa used on Gula, outside line in. And there, Ekstrom has the lead, but watch the outside line as Ekstrom has to break sooner to make the tighter part of the corner. He just ramped around the outside, and Island carried that pass to an almost complete heel clicker at the line.
So pro stock now complete with the victory by Mike Island. They are official. Morgan and Tommy Amasalo. Tucker Hibbert could only manage a fourth out of that. So now let's go down. Visit with Jerry Bernardo.
I don't think anyone is more excited than Michael Island to be here on the podium today. This is his second ever podium, a first in the stock. Everything's changing. Great win. You got the ride with Warner Racing. And look where you are today, Mike.
Yeah, you know, actually, I love the 440 class, always have, but for some reason I've never really shined in the 440. I usually do better in the open class, so this is definitely a good confidence booster, and glad to be here.
Right, the visibility's poor here in Deadwood. You had to fend off Tommy Amasalo, who we know is very strong, comes on strong at the end of the race. Did you know he was behind you?
I had no idea who was there. I knew it was somebody strong, you know. Tommy and I are in the gym every day, 2.5 hours working each other, so, it pays off. He must have really enjoyed following me, and maybe he would like to be ahead of me, of course, but he must have been pretty excited, knowing that the two of us were on the podium, and if I was in his position, I'd just be as happy to be there too. So I'm really happy to get this win, though.
So the points don't change all that much. It does get tighter at the top with a tie for first. It's Pro Open coming up next. Well, we welcome you back. We're ready now for the big sleds. Pro Open qualifying. Round 1, Heat 1. Blair Morgan's in the middle of this one. Look at him crouched and ready to go.
Once again, note the visibility. That fog a little bit thicker than ever. And volley. Boy, did he nail the hole shot.
Boy, this is the race of changes as we're seeing guys that have been up toward the front, but now they are going to the front. Levi LaValle out in front and powerful. Oh, we got several guys off.
That's Ken Ibsen, who's down in the snow, and he's shaken up a little bit. Gula involved in this as well. Ibsen really struggling down there, and obviously it looks to me like it's probably something maybe related to that right arm.
Again, remember the visibility is low. They're on the course, and sooner or later the officials are going to have to take that into account and really slow them down.
Look at the margin that LaValle has opened up already, and that's Todd Wolf, who's taking a run at Morgan for second. Now here's, see that right there, that's a yellow flag zone, and you cannot race. Those guys doing it absolutely perfectly, keeping the tracks down in the snow, rolling through the section, and then back on the gas. Meanwhile, Medic's taking a look at Ibsen.
Now they've got him off the edge of the course. Still not the world's greatest position, but at least he's got medical help right there. Of course, that's almost instantaneous. Whoa! That took a big pitch.
That shows Wolf taking a serious run at Morgan, and he is way off to the outside of the track. And there are spots where the jumps kind of fall off on the edges, and he hooked that, and it got his sled rotated badly. Did a nice job to save it. Now he's really going side by side again with Blair.
LaValle, Morgan, Wolf. And notice, unless the sleds are right on top of our different camera positions, there's a couple places, especially on the down run, where visibility added to snow dust makes this really tough. Look at that shot, for example.
Exactly, and again, when you're racing close like Wolf is now, and he's stuck in the roost of Morgan. Whenever Morgan goes to the throttle on this big open sled, if Wolf's right behind him and gets a face full of that, it just stops you because you truly go blind for a moment, and then you got to still deal with the visibility in terms of the fog and the light.
7C, Blair Morgan, his traditional number, but untraditionally, you got Todd Wolf right behind him and working him.
Well, and that's what's given Levi, I think, a little bit of an opportunity to draw away as we have 2 laps to go here. Obviously, Morgan was racing Wolf for a little bit, wasn't able to go after LaValle. Now he's trying to go.
LaValle bottoms into a rut there, slows down. Morgan closes on him.
There's this long downhill run, one of the longest straights and downhill at that we've had. Very whooped out, some big holes down near the bottom here.
Now first, second, and third separated. The fight is Morgan trying to catch LaValle.
Yeah, one, he's not worried about Wolf now, and 2, he's been able to, Morgan, a little bit of a bobble there as he popped to the inside, and that cost him a little bit of time.
They start the final circuit of the course. 100, the Polaris and LaValle out in front. He got through that corner a little better that time. Morgan working on him. Morgan has not been able to really move up like one might expect.
That inside line of LaValle all the way back.
Oh, boy, he stays on the sled.
Well, I was going to say that was a great line, but he just hooked that jump wrong, and Morgan's there.
So now Morgan is right there. He gives him a nerf. Oh, they're both in trouble. Watch for Todd Wolf. And Wolf comes down on the inside. First and second take one another out, and Todd Wolf is the winner. What a development right at the end. A little desperation move added to lowering visibility and some ruts in the track. And as Morgan gets it started, that gives him the second place.
Gives you an idea of the margin they had over the rest of the pack at this point, but Levi's got to be dejected.
So, Greg Kramer, here's what happened there.
Well, watch for it. Obviously, Levi had that little bit of a bobble, but he still was in the lead. This is the last turn. Morgan comes in and just drilled him, and look what happened. It tipped Levi up and then spun him around the other way. Kind of an awkward end to the situation, but Morgan gave him a pretty solid bump in the back, and that's what messed up LaValle.
Todd Wolf, who at the white flag was solidly looking at second place at best and more likely third, comes home the winner. They're on the line already as qualifying continues. There's Mike Island, winner in Pro Stock.
Paul, imagine what that's done for his confidence coming into this first round of Pro Open qualifying.
Pretty stout competitors in this lineup, too. Check of the line. Tucker right in the center, gets a good start, but not quite. Oh, they all slow down. Everybody, almost everybody stayed on the sled. The one who didn't was Tucker.
He had a great start. They turned in. Somebody forced somebody, I didn't see who it was, into those bales, and those bales popped out. It looked like they messed up a number of people, and now that's a carambolage. Kohansky, Lashad, Jones, I think even Alasalo was caught up.
Oh, man.
So now Island and Shabitsky are gone.
So that gives the lead over to Mike Island, who, by the way, didn't get the lead that much as a result of incidents. He came flying out there, led Hibbert off of the line and legitimately took the lead of the race. Then everything seemed to happen behind him.
Well, he had a great hole shot, as he has been getting. And the guy behind those two now, here's Justin Tate. He hasn't had the kind of season he wanted. Remember last year, he wanted Duluth to start the season off in pro stock, and he's just been he's struggling a little bit this season, frankly, and he needs a good run here to sort of get back on track. Hibbert is back up with that big incident down at the bottom of the hill. Hibbert was able to tiptoe through it, picks up fourth.
Island, Shabitsky, Tate is back from Tate as Hibbert. But they're all right there now. Single file for the moment, but well within reach. Greg Hyde showing on the leaderboard for the first time today.
Nice to see that. And here comes Hibbert trying to get Tate. Got him.
That's Tucker's style. Nice, neat, clean.
Decisive, too. I mean, Tucker can be incredibly patient when he's chasing and he catches somebody to set up a pass. He'll take a lap or two to get it, but when it happens, he's by, and it's usually just as clean as can be and just whistles through.
Now with 3 to go, the battle is going to focus at the front. Carl Shabitsky is on full attack mode with Island, and Tucker Hibbert wants them both.
Oh, look at Hibbert now coming after Shabitsky. Really, really, really tightened up the exit of that turn.
Whoa! Hibbert on that green number 68 Cat been using a little different line. Skidoo and Polaris running 1-2. And there's the top 3.
Well, that's that patience that I'm talking about with Hibbert and the way he works a turn. If he'll go in deep square and come up, one of two things will happen in his mind, I think. One, either he'll be able to get to the throttle sooner and just go by, or if he gets the guy he's chasing to start thinking about the different lines he's running, if that guy moves to protect, Hibbert can come by. Now watch this right here.
Hibbert goes off the corner one side, then down to the inside. The cut doesn't work for him.
There it does. Once he got up alongside Shabitsky knew he was there. It messed Shabitsky's line up a little bit, and Hibbert squared, went to the throttle sooner, and it paid off.
I gotta tell you, it's getting harder and harder to see these sleds as we work the final lap. And Mike Island has Tucker Hibbert all over. Mike Island takes a tumble. Hibbert goes past, takes the lead. Island's all right.
That was a huge off.
Shabitsky moves to second place as Island gets off the course and off the sled. Tucker Hibbert takes the lead.
Island had gravity working against him as that was that downhill run, and it just carried him in that crash a long way.
So there's the win for Tucker Hibbert. Mike Island, look back there at the back of the sled, Greg.
Oh, man. That thing obviously hit hard on the tail and trashed it up. Let's go back and take a look at it. And he's just trying to, he sees Hibbert right there. He cases the top of that jump. He goes bailing, and boom, right there. It's where that sled took that hammering at the back end of it. Got a little different look at it here. Now watch this. This is a violent off. Cases that lip, he's already off. He's out of control. Hits hard there and gets pitched. Now there's Island. He's bouncing in the snow. And, I mean, he just augured in. His head gave him the ride for a long time. Did you see that piece of his sled land by him?
So Mike Island getting back up and going finally is going to come home in 8th place. Take a look at this. This is what made the difference as Island takes the tumble. But Tucker Hibbert was already passed. We'll be right back. Me back to the Terry Peak ski area in Deadwood, South Dakota. They're working on Mike Island's sled. It apparently is taking a few bumps on that last summer. It's time for Inside Cross with Greg Kramer, brought to you by Ride FX High Performance Shocks.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Inside Cross. In our last show for Inside Cross, we took a look at the trick innovations that Polaris is using with the technology of warming the pipe up to get the best power out of a two-stroke engine. The other two manufacturers have their variants. Arctic Cat has probably the simplest, and some say the most effective, simple set of probes that go down to the exhaust pipes, wired over to the electronic ignition box, and as you start the engine, it automatically warms the pipe up, goes through the various settings, and when you're ready to go, it just kicks into normal mode. Skidoo has a version as well. It's a switch, warm-up mode and ride or race mode. But in competition, the riders were breaking that switch off with all of the action that was going on. So they actually just sort of tie wrapped up under the bars a little button. Push it once, you're in warm-up mode. Push it again, you're in ride or race mode. The interesting thing for Polaris, though, they're the first to incorporate it into a launch control. Now, that can be considered what they call a driver's aid, and for some, that's the dilemma. We thought we'd ask Carl Kuster what he thinks about the new technology.
I think it's a pretty good idea. It helps to warm the pipe up a little bit, so it's up to temperature, so the motor pulls hard right out of the hole. We're trying to do the same thing, but all three manufacturers got a different way of doing it. We've got a race switch too, so they're getting fairly close.
Mike Island sled up on the skis. The question now, is it going to be ready to go? Jerry Bernardo.
Michael Island, one of the most spectacular mod crashes I've ever seen. My only question is, are you all right?
Yeah, I don't know. Everything was going real good. It was last lap. I was just loving, being up front again, and Tucker came up around the right side of me, and I kind of whiskey throttle up the top there, and it was certainly my mistake. I don't know. I bounced right back up, and mechanics are going hard, straightening things out, and we're going to go get at her.
Still smiling, like to see it. Good you're not hurt. Go get him.
Sure will. Thank you.
So Mike's ready to go. So's the field. Pro Open qualifying when we come back. Visibility getting worse, and there's a real possibility of cancellation. Look at this meeting.
Well, there's Blair Morgan. They've sent him out, but they've pretty much already decided they are going to cancel this. Morgan said he wanted to take a look, but the consensus of all the other drivers is we're done, which means this final is going to be determined at the Polaris Canterbury Snocross. Couple of opportunities coming up to watch it, one on ESPN, the other on ESPN2. So catch it. You'll not only see all the action from that race, you'll see the Pro Open final from here in Deadwood.
WSA Snocross is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more on Snocross, log on to ESPN.com. Wintertime on ESPN Speed World means WSA Snocross. The Polaris Canterbury Snocross from Canterbury Downs in Shakopee, Minnesota. At our last event, Mike Island had a most interesting day, winning in Pro Stock, and in Pro Open he had a terrible time. Ekstrom just checked out.
Island, did he get a start? And he is going after him.
Oh, and he got him. He didn't go after him. He got him good.
Mike Island, he has been so strong this season.
Island looks at the checkered flag, takes the win.
His first win as a WSA Pro in a big final.
You know what's the coolest thing about hanging out in the trailer? You guys have cookies. Mike, I'll eat my 14th cookie, and my mom always told me, don't talk with your mouth full. I never listened to her anyhow. Now let's talk about the big win. The big win. You're so excited. You won. You beat everyone.
No, I am excited. I may not look it, but I am. That was a week ago, though. I can't be excited about last weekend. I got to start getting excited about this weekend. It seemed like the longest race of my life. It was 12 laps, but it seemed like it was 100.
Tell me the truth. You probably chugged 2 180s right before the race, didn't you? Fess up.
You're jacked up on 180.
So you get off the win in the stock class and you go out and you start on your mod when everything had begun to go horribly wrong. What happened with that spectacular crash? I mean, that was like a sprint car crash. You know how they just spiral at high speed, the plastic flying off? That was you. Of course, my mouth was open like this.
Mainly, it was just high speed coming down. There's a couple little kickers there that I was just trying to double over. I'd been doing it the whole race, but it's just a mistake you make at high speed and you lose.
Seriously, you hop right up.
I didn't even knock the wind out of myself.
You know what's funny? What is it in that hole when you crash? You just jump up. You just want to get back on.
Yeah. You got a broken back, broken neck, broken femur, and you just jump up and run over to your bike, and then you're like, oh, maybe I can't move.
You can do it! So obviously things were clicking for you at Deadwood. You like that track, practice on the mods, big crash. Now we're over here. We're going to fish it up at Canterbury. Totally different scenario.
We'll see, I guess. I think the biggest thing is going to be a hindrance for me is the cold weather. I know I'm from Canada and all, but I am still a wuss.
Have a cookie, huh?
As we're ready for Pro Stock qualifying, Mike has proven that he is definitely one of those to watch on that Bud Light number 8.
Well, it all culminated, of course, with that big win in Deadwood, but he has been getting quicker and quicker and quicker at every event so far this season. Here's the guy that's tied for the lead in these stock points along with Morgan, 144 even. As you can see, a beautiful, glorious day, a little chilly, lots of snow on the track, not much anywhere else, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, so much different than the run in Deadwood, South Dakota, where they finally had to abandon racing because of a lack of visibility. Look at this. It's just crystal clear out here. It is beautiful.
Look at those two distinct lines in that first turn. They've really cut a big... Oh! And that's Tucker!
Tucker is off right away.
Well, once again, that's the problem of not getting that really good start that you want. You get caught up a little bit, and that's the result that often happens.
Greg Hyde also with a problem. He's standing out in the middle of the course. There's not a yellow flag for him there. Yeah, you better go for cover. Wow, that was different.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there, but it certainly had Hyde doing the dance as he got out of the way as Hibbert was recovering.
Still no yellow. Green as they cross
There's
the line.
yellow. Yellow
Still
comes
out
out
there in the middle. That's not a good situation. Not at all.
I think what happened there was they were hoping that Hyde would be able to get that sled cleared out before the pack came around again. And obviously, instead, he had to scoot off track when Hibbert came through.
Well, there's Mike Island. Mike Island out in front.
Oh, he did it again.
Definitely the guy to watch.
Well, I think confidence plays such a key role. Even with his crash in open, he knew he was still going awfully fast, that sled was riding well, and I think he took what happened in that crash with the right attitude. You know, you take a risk when you're racing at speed and things happen.
But here
talk about
LaValle.
Yeah, look at LaValle around the outside.
LaValle. TJ Gula now fighting for the lead as Island fades.
Boy, doing that big double on the backstretch, I mean, you've got to do that to be quick.
Oh, LaValle inside line, and LaValle goes on. Man, change after change.
I think LaValle probably cannot believe his luck right now, and he's got right behind him. He caught up Reimer in that as well.
Earl Reimer there on 100. Here it is.
You see around the outside, there goes Gould, and when they touch, he washes that ski. He pushes the right ski of LaValle as he's a little light in the air, pushes that ski down and it rotates over, and there's nothing Levi can do about it.
So we're back to the front of the field. It's Gula, Island, and Carl Shabitsky, who, remember, too, at Deadwood, was up in the front of many of the battles.
And just for a little note here, look at what we've got in terms of manufacturers. Cat, Skidoo, Polaris in the top 3.
Again, the same thing we have seen throughout the season.
Good parity across the brands. They've done a lot of work on these sleds. We knew the Rev was a good piece, and now they've got that developed for the stock class. But they've also done some work on the suspension and the like on the Articat, which ran this same chassis in stock and open last year. It's much more effective. And we talked earlier, I believe at Winnipeg in the Inside Cross, about what they've done to the Polaris to really turn that around.
We've crossed the halfway point. At the moment, no contest at front. Tucker Hibbert is back in the pack. TJ Gula there, 44, is the leader, but now once again he is under attack. Checker comes out, and TJ Gula takes the win here in qualifying.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to round 4 of the WSA Snocross Worldwide Championship presented by Ford Trucks, the Polaris Canterbury Snocross. Time to talk track. No real snow anywhere. It's all man-made. When you have to rely on that and you start from bare ground, first step is you pump just water. You just let it flow out and freeze the ground so you've got a cold base. Then you make the artificial snow on top of it, and there's tons of it. They've done a great job. But it's soft, granular, it moves differently, and it packs weird. But they have so much. You've got these monster canyons, and this is in a corner. I mean, look at the up and down nature, the soft powdery berms. You got that huge ridge up there. You've got to get the rider communicating with his mechanic to get the setup on the sled right to deal with this deep powder and this granular snow, but that yet hasn't even factored in what goes on at the exit of the turn. When a rider gets through the corner now, especially if they use this tight inside line, which a lot of guys will, it's just hard acceleration up the chute to the next corner, and that means you're just gassing it. Well, I talked about how loose and powdery and granular the snow is. It just shoves it aside as they're accelerating, and a number of guys doing that, it eventually will get down to ice. Remember the water that's pumped out first of all? That's what you hit. So you need a combination of your setup that'll be effective in the big powdery moguls, and then will be effective on glare ice, where you need grip and you need to be able to steer. It's the combination. You've got to keep chasing that setup till you find that perfect balance, and the guy who does that first and best is the guy who's going to be at the front at the end.
Yeah, and I don't care, as we're ready for Pro Stock qualifying. You got one of them $35,000 plasma high detail things. It's really hard to see how big some of these jumps are. Carl Kuster, he's currently third in Pro Stock points. Of course, up at the front, the tie between this man, Blair Morgan at 144, and Tucker Hibbert sets the tone as we come into this fight.
Well, this is what it's all about, and keep in mind, you get points in these qualifying rounds, so they are absolutely crucial. Oftentimes, at the end of the year, that points difference can determine a champion.
Off and running in qualifying. Is that Amasalo way over on the left there? Look at the hole shot he got.
He just canned it, and I mean, take a look at that whoop field, and that's just the chop run up to the big finish line jump that they have to negotiate. But you're right, Amasalo, he got out of that, off that line incredibly well.
So Tommy Amasalo takes the lead. That's Trevor John and Blair Morgan going side by side. Morgan, of course, with his home team this year, and really wanting to chalk up a couple of championships under his own team name. Change from the previous season. Now Amasalo and Blair Morgan closing.
Now notice what Morgan is doing on that big finish line jump, and we catch it again. He's collapsing his knees right as he gets to the top of that, and he's trying to get that sled back down onto the snow as fast as he can, because right now doubling there is not the quick way to go. Where it is fast is on this backstretch. But that's what he is so astute at, is reading the conditions and saying, no, on that finish jump, get it down. It's a smooth run. Use the engine to pull you, and he is coming after Amasalo. He'll double these a little bit, but watch here now. There's the clap. See how he sat down on the seat, Paul?
And that quickly goes to the front, but it's still going to be a fight. You know, the one thing I don't see, Greg, is the years of watching Blair Morgan so gentle, so smooth. I don't know if it's a technology change over the past couple of years, but he does not seem to ride with the smoothness he used to. He's still competitive, he's always been. Battle for third. Yuji Nakasawa, Trevor John. Carl Kuster there as well.
I think that's TJ Gula that's trying to come up and join that battle. So we got a good four-sled scrap going on right here. Of course, it's behind those guys out front that are going away a little bit. Nice move there as Trevor fights back, trying to get underneath Kuster.
They all jam in. Door gets slammed just a little bit. 85, Trevor John.
Boy, look at Nakasawa go by Kuster. He's going after Trevor.
And he's got him. Yuji Nakasawa, well, he had him.
He had him, and then he ran a little wide, carried just a little bit too much speed into that turn, floated out, and both Trevor and Kuster cut underneath, and game over, but Yuji's not giving it up by any stretch. Oh, look at this.
Yuji will get in there and fight. John Kuster, Yuji Nakasawa, he's number 36. And they're going to change again.
Kuster noses ahead of John now, using that inside line. You know, you look at, we've been following the points, and we see both Kuster and Yuji farther up in the points than we've seen them in some time. And that, again, speaks to how competitive things are, how close-fought things are. But I'm convinced that Kuster is showing more speed this year than he's ever had. He's always been very smooth, fast, smooth and the like, very Morgan-like in his riding style, but he's never had Blair's speed. But it is coming now. There's Amasalo, and there's the guy.
On the final lap of the run, Amasalo is second behind Morgan. As Morgan goes for the line. Look at him. Where is everybody? I like it when it's like that.
Yeah, he opened up a huge margin once he went to the front.
Amasalo second, fight for third, finally resolves itself as they cross the line as well.
Kuster just able to fend off Trevor Judd.
Oh, Blair Morgan takes the win as qualifying continues in round number 2. Pro stock from the Polaris Canterbury Snocross in Shakopee. It's time for Pro Stock Final. It's not been the greatest of days for Tucker Hibbert. He had to come through and win the last chance qualifier in order to make it into the final. You see his name down there, the bottom 4. They'll line up in the second row. Top qualifier, Blair Morgan.
Yep, the telltale there is the 7 in that first column for Hibbert. That crash in that first heat, that 7th place finish, dumped him into the LCQ. Morgan gets max points in the qualifier round, and that breaks that tie big time in that points battle.
Another name that's coming online rides the Bud Light number 8. That's Mike Island. He's the champion out of the run at Deadwood and definitely made his presence known here today.
He is a man that is on form, and here's a look at the back row, and you know who we're going to find there. There he is, Tucker Hibbert. And he's got himself a situation here because with this split deal, you see that big wall right in the middle of the turn. He's got to make a decision about which way to go, and does he run into it, into the pack, or check up and try and tiptoe underneath? We'll find out right now.
Pro Stock Final underway, and they begin jamming nice and early. Mike Island looked like he got a good run at the start. Blair Morgan did as well. Mike Island in front.
That means Island got that very prestigious Sport Tech Hole Shot Award for the best launch off the line, but Morgan right there.
Yeah, he's going to have to do battle with Morgan right away. Look at Morgan just screaming to the lead. Nice going, Blair.
That's that rhythm section on the back, and Morgan has it figured out. It's a double, double, double. You're into the next turn. Others are still struggling to get it figured out. And watch here again to see over the big finish jump if Morgan does that sit down, keeps that sled low. Actually, he's daring it a little bit. There's a big bump in there. He's trying to clear. But watch that riding style as he adjusts to the track so incredibly well.
And I did kind of take off after him on where is the smoothness, but, well, there it is. That's the kind of thing we talk about with Blair Morgan.
Well, I mean, sometimes the track doesn't offer that. You just cannot work that rhythm and get the smoothness for a little bit until the line changes. Oh, what a move there by Pitlick, I think, as he just parked Ekstrom.
Pitlick and Ekstrom go at one another. That's Wolf back there in 5th place.
I was going to say, who just made that spot up, got by Ekstrom as well. And that's one of those scenarios. Pitlick's move on Ekstrom forced Ekstrom off his line, rattled his rhythm a little bit before he could really recover. Wolf went by him.
Wolf still coming forward, doing what he can to try to handle up Brad Pitlick.
You know, the problem you were talking about Morgan and the smoothness and the rhythm and the like as this battle continues here. Sometimes when you get that rhythm, it all depends on where you approach the jump. If you can't get the kind of run you want on the line you're on, it's not going to be smooth, and you explore a little bit, then finally you go, okay, here's the one I want. Then you can start to find that rhythm, but of course, sometimes right as you do that, the track changes up and that line disappears.
Morgan, then Mike Island. 1-2. Tucker Hibbert's back in 6th place right now. Remember, he started in the back row.
Well, he's made his ground up. That was a pass of Ekstrom for the 6th spot. Oh, Wolf has a little problem. And Tucker quickly turns that into 5th.
But Tucker Hibbert not having the greatest of weekends. Finally moves up to where he can actually do something, but taking a lot of important folks with him. Not going to be easy for him. And of course, this could have a massive effect on the point standings. He comes into this run tied with Blair Morgan, who currently leads it. But unless he gets a little further forward, whoa!
Oh, big run spoiled. That's Levi Lavallee now who picks up a spot, moves into the 7th spot. That's Hibbert now into 4th. Boy, did he go by Pitlick. He had that inside line and just really just squared up and just triggered it underneath Pitlick at this point. So, yeah, they came in. He and Morgan came into this weekend tied in points. But Morgan already with his qualifying run and that 7th for Hibbert has broken that tie to the point, Paul, that even if Hibbert wins it, if Morgan's second, Morgan should still come out of this in the point lead.
Back at third place, Carl Shabitsky rides alone for the moment, but he's going to be the target of Tucker Hibbert here any second now. And Tucker is well aware of those points, as is his crew, and they understand clearly that, oh, Shabitsky all by himself.
Well, it looked to me like he overjumped that last one. He just overjumped it, pancaked it, and it bounced him up off the seat, sort of like what happened to Island in Deadwood, only this one happened on the flat. Let's see if we can take a look here as we go back and watch it right here. Everything looks good here, but there's where he wants to land, and boom, he lands in that hole. He overjumped it. It bounced him into the bars, and that just absolutely messed him up, and off he went. It's right there. He just overjumped it, and instead of landing on the downslope, he pancaked it into that hole. The suspension rebounded, and see ya.
Levi LaValle having a little trouble handling that sled up. Currently 5th place, and there's more of the trouble. Apparently the collar is not strapped down at all. He's going to have to literally stop and do it. And we know how dangerous that is. He's off to the right, but he's still pretty well in the course.
Now he's trying just to rip the thing off, and the problem is there's a little wire cable that keeps those hoods attached, so that's going to be a long battle. He's going to lose a time. Boy, rained absolute downpour in terms of luck for Levi LaValle.
Blair Morgan, no problems whatsoever. As they wave him on with 2 to go, Tucker Hibbert's had his problems, getting a little closer now. And Mike Island has maintained second after he was passed by Blair Morgan for the lead. There's Brad Pitlick on the number 90, back in 4th place.
Pitlick having an incredible run. He's looking very, very strong. He, too, is somebody, he ended up not getting the factory drive this year. He's doing it as an independent, and it's as if he's got something to prove, and he has been very impressive and gets, again, like Island has, quicker every weekend.
Looks like Blair Morgan, as he starts his last lap, is going to take a big jump in the points here and get away from his nemesis, Tucker Hibbert. Hibbert, again, there he is, starting from the last row, back row, and having to come forward. Does so. Some of his racing, some bad luck for a couple other people, but it's going to get him close, but it isn't going to get him back to the tie.
You know, Morgan he has lapped now as high as 6th as he comes to the line. Unbelievable run.
Well, Blair Morgan takes the win in the Pro Stock Final at Canterbury Downs.
And he is closing in on a remarkable record, Paul. That is his 49th finals win in WSA competition.
Mike Island takes a 2nd place. Look at Pitlick here. Booster hits 4th with Tucker Hibbert in 3rd place.
Boy, this track has pounded the heck out of some of these sleds, hasn't it? Not even crash-related damage. Gives you an idea of just how violent this Canterbury track is here this weekend. Challenging, let's call it.
There's Levi LaValle finally got everything back together and going, but of course that was a serious problem for him. He's still trying to get that Colling to stay on there. Morgan takes the win, followed by Island, Hibbert, Skidoo, Cat. Here's Jerry Bernardo.
Yeah, sometimes it gets so lonely at the top, you have to pass everybody. You have to infiltrate all the lappers and work your way through the crowd. About an 8-second win.
Yeah, I felt good. I had the whole shot again. Sled's working awesome. Jill's got that thing just working mint, and yeah, the track's pretty good right now. You know, yesterday was a little fast, but today I got some big holes everywhere, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun out there.
Talk to me about coming through traffic.
It wasn't too bad, actually. The guys are actually pretty good about the blue flag this time, and I think I just had faster lines than everybody, and I just went by them pretty easily.
Apparently, sir, because you are the winner, and congratulations once again, Blair Morgan, the Superman.
Paul, we saw the graphic. He got max points. He won both heats and the final. Doesn't get better than that.
When we come back, the Pro Open final that we didn't get to run at Deadwood. Well, we welcome you back to the Polaris Canterbury Snocross from Canterbury Downs in Shakopee, Minnesota. Paul Page, Greg Kramer, and we are ready to run the Deadwood Deadwood Pro Open final that we weren't able to run because of visibility.
Yeah, they postponed it due to the fog. In fact, they postponed the second round, the LCQ, and the final. They ran yesterday. So we're going to go back now and take a look, show you some highlights from that very important final. And here is the start. And once again, you see a couple of skidoos really getting off the line incredibly strongly. And early on, Brad Pillick, who had looked so fast here in other events, had that tumble. And guess who went to the front?
Yeah, there's a shock. Blair Morgan, but in this case, with Tucker Hibbert right behind him.
Hibbert got a better start than he has, fought his way up and started to challenge Morgan. Ibsen followed through into the third spot, trying to come back from that crash he had in Deadwood in the stock final. Ekstrom was very strong up in the fourth on the Amsoil Polaris, but Morgan out front and controlling things. And when he gets there, even there, look at that, he got it all crossed up. What did he do? Saved it with power. Came down, went to the trigger, straightened it right out. But back in the back,
great battle for sixth place. TJ Gula, Mike Island, Tommy Amasalo, and then third place, Kent Ibsen got off course.
Yeah, it just sort of augured in, the nose dropped, and it probably caught a ridge, which they're buried underneath this track and get all this man-made snow. But up front, Island and Ekstrom got into a war.
Ongoing battle for third. They fought each other constantly. Morgan began to overhaul traffic. Still looking hard as the leader, but looking hard as well was Tucker Hibbert trying to catch him. And right there, as they ran for the finish line, it was Blair Morgan taking the checkered flag, followed by Tucker Hibbert.
I think Tucker was probably in the last couple laps a little quicker, but whenever he catch Morgan, Morgan had the fast line. Tucker was just following it. This looks like maybe a battle for third. It's not. Island got it. That was Tate, Ekstrom's teammate, who was actually down a lap. Amasalo got fourth. Gula rounded out the top five.
So it's the delayed Deadwood run, and Blair Morgan wins it. We're ready now for Pro Open qualifying for this event here at Canterbury Downs. And Tucker Hibbert, who's currently second in the points, is on the line and ready. Remember the problems that he had, though, in pro stock at this very event site.
He's got to come up with some good runs here if he wants to maintain points lead or at least be in the play in one of the two classes that he won the championship in last year. He swept them both. Boy, a little bump and grind off the line.
Yeah, that's going to cost a couple of guys. Amasalo and Noel Kohansky. Not so golden with that one.
Nice to hear the name, though, Back Racing. He came out of Deadwood and was still a little sore and a little rusty, but he's back, and it's nice to have Golden Noel back behind the bars.
The field comes through. You see Tucker? He's back there. How about this? Brock Crapo in front. Shabitsky overhauling him fast.
Shabitsky has figured that back section out. He's got a great line and very fast rhythm, and it's working for him over there. And you mentioned Sean Crapo. Keep in mind, Crapo, he also came back in Deadwood, and he was a little ineffective. And he said after it, he said, my leg really hurt when he was landing some of those big jumps. Well, he's worked on that. But remember now, Shabitsky crashed in the opening round. He is looking for a solid run right here. He's hungry.
Here's where Carl was fast the lap before. He does it again, and this time it gets him the lead. Crapo drops to second. Tucker Hibbert is third.
Hibbert not able to do a whole lot with these guys right now, but look at that. There's very little rhythm in this field. Look at even Hibbert cannot figure out a nice double run through there. It is just very awkward. He still got through there better than Crapo, but it is not pretty right now in that section of track.
In doing that, Tucker Hibbert takes second place and now begins to pursue Carl Shabitsky, the leader of the run here.
That backstretch has got a very nice rhythm to it. It's got to be frustrating. You get that backstretch and it's just a joy to ride. And then you come up here to this minefield and you get double one, double two, but then you start doing this, just sort of through and through. Oh, look at Hibbert coming alongside.
Ski to ski, Hibbert and Shabitsky. Shabitsky's able to forge forward. Hibbert trying to close once again. Ducks in behind him, ducks to the inside.
But Carl just shut the door there. So Hibbert pops outside.
Yeah, but Shabitsky has been powerful through this point, faster through this area of the course, but not this time, at least into the corner. It's Tucker Hibbert that takes the lead.
Now you see Hibbert trying to solve that, and he has. Two big doubles, he's through that minefield. He figured it out. That's going to demoralize Shibitsky. I mean, look at the lead he built up, Paul, in just that one stretch, because Hibbert found the rhythm. He found the line there.
Amazing how working out just one little section of the course, just a couple of jumps, going through it just a tenth faster makes a world of difference eventually. And like you say, once you do it to somebody, especially if you can really be cool and wave while you're going by, it just totally demoralizes the other guy.
Yeah, that old airborne look back sometimes is not just to know where they are, it's to let them know where you are.
Sean Crapo on 3 was in the early lead. He's now dropped back to 4th place as Shibitsky's still trying to stay with Tucker Hibbert.
And, you know, the amazing thing when you do that, especially in that minefield where you've got to be perfect, because if you overjump or underjump, you are going to hit something hard and be lucky to stay on. And right there, boom, there's one. Hits the other one, backpedals a little bit. To have the gift to know just how much trigger to give it, to get you to the front, to the win like that, get you to land in the right spots, that's just an amazing, amazing skill.
Well, he won a round 1, goes to Tucker Hibbert. Tommy Amasalo. Tommy comes across the line in 3rd place. Tucker Hibbert is the winner. Makes up a little bit, perhaps, for his performance in pro stock. Snocross continues here at Canterbury Downs. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Shakopee, Minnesota, the Polaris Canterbury Snocross from Canterbury Downs. Get you a little bit inside the sport now with Inside Cross and Greg Kramer. Inside Cross is brought to you by Ride FX, high performance shocks.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Inside Cross. You know, we've been talking about how cold it is here at Canterbury. What bothers me is the microphone is better dressed for it than I am. What we want to talk about here today, though, is the fact that there's a tremendous amount of setup work that goes into putting on a Snocross Worldwide Championship event for WSA. You've got these monster superstructures for the start and finish line, camera scaffolding, signage, banners, everything that has to go up, track maintenance, grooming, the like. It is a very challenging job, made even more challenging by the fact it happens not on firm ground, but often on deep, soft, powdery snow. To do it right, you need, as the old saying goes, the right tool for the right job. And Polaris Professional Series and their remarkable line of workmobiles and generators have actually come up with a solution. Well, and who better to take a look at that serious, difficult, and challenging hard work than Jerry Bernardo.
Thanks, Greg. They are fun, but vehicles like this definitely provide valuable transportational assistance from everybody, like the WSA, the guys like Steve Shearing. You guys got to move around a lot of equipment. You got your own track. How handy are these?
It's one of the coolest things Polaris comes out with. It's a Sportsman 700. We have a 5-acre site in Aurora, and we use this for hauling snowmaking equipment in the winter. And the cool part is, when you want to go blow off some steam and have fun, you go get muddy.
All right, well, I'm going to take this one for a test ride. Can I give you my mic, and I'm going to go blow up some steam myself? Be careful with it. It's the Mad Bomber.
Absolutely, I'll treasure it.
Thank you.
Hope that Jerry got around safely as we're ready for Pro Open qualifying. Blair Morgan, current points leader, 151. And obviously the guy to beat. He's been doing good. Levi LaValle.
Finally turned it around. We've been talking about the bad luck he's been having, and he put together a great run, as you saw in the graphic. So maybe that confidence is up a little bit. We'll see what he can do and unleash in this race as we rain.
So it's round 1, heat 3, and it's underway. Look at Levi LaValle. He is jumping strong.
Launching Levi right into the lead. A great start for him. And I think that's Pitlick tucking into the second spot.
That's Pitlick in there.
Justin Tate third, Gula fourth. That's one of the things about Pitlick this year as you watch LaValle open it up a little bit. Pitlick has that damage to his left hand. It's very hard to hang onto the bars. And I think he's just been working an incredibly hard amount on strengthening that so that he can hang on and stay on board a little bit longer in the races. And it's paying off big time.
Sometimes I think we do forget how incredibly athletic you have to be to throw these sleds around in the air, manhandle them.
The training these guys go through on a regular basis is just phenomenal. I mean, you've got to have the upper body strength, you got to have the arm strength, so you don't get arm pump. And there's even, I don't even know the name of it, but some guys get a surgery that opens up the arteries in the forearms to help with eliminating arm pump. I mean, the dedication some of these guys have is almost scary.
You're kidding me. I didn't know that. They actually go to surgery to, I mean, they're changing their physique so it works. Wow! That would be a serious, serious problem. Justin Tate. Whoa. Oh, we got trouble back there now. And
Reimer gets into him, Paul.
What's going on?
And that's Gula's sled, and that's Wolf. And it looks like Wolf may be underneath that pile. Officials on hand. Morgan now up to second spot, getting by Pitlick.
That's frightening. Looks like everybody's all right.
Looks like it. What a moment, though. And Tate was the guy, he started that with that big throwaway, got it nose high, and just pitched it, which was the smart thing to do. Then behind him, everything broke loose.
And Levi LaValle just off to the right into one of the hay bales. Stopped a little quick.
He just caught one of those. Watch this right here. Compresses, it gets him up, it rotates right there, and he can't hang on to it, and boom. And I mean, that's stopped. As you said, that's stopped. That's smart.
I'm going to start breathing here in a minute. Finally, he gets back underway. Todd Wolf, by the way, is up walking around. That's good news. Well, he's up being helped around.
Yeah, he's shaking up a little bit, no question of that. But he had his off wasn't pleasant. Then Gula clipped him, and then right at the end, Reimer just kind of tagged into the back of him. At least he got some speed scrubbed off. Scary moment.
In the meantime, it's Morgan style. Goodbye. I'm all alone, unchallenged. You know, I like it like this.
Well, it is something that he has figured out, and it's just amazing to watch him run. I mean, as good as he is on the stock class, when you give him a little bit more juice in the engine, it's amazing. Wolf now looks like he's even thinking about getting back on the buggy.
No, don't think about that just yet. That was a pretty good lick there. I'm surprised too that with his smack that LaValle was able to get up and get going and get back in the fight himself.
There's Gula. He's going again, but he goes down a lap to Morgan.
And Morgan is just cruising. The checkered flag lies ahead. It's all Morgan. All Morgan all day, except for that little burst by LaValle right at the start.
Yeah, poor Levi, as he comes by, he'll still end up in the top 5, but he was just trying to double a couple of holes, and that short shoot landed on the wrong angle, and it just pitched him off right into that bale. I mean, that tells you a little bit about how close the margins are these guys run sometimes. And report is now, Paul, that Wolf got on his sled and drove off. Watch this here. That's Tate. There's the big. He just said, no way am I going to mess with that. And just let that bad boy go. Look at him shaking his head. But here's the back angle of it.
So, big accident. Morgan wins. We'll be back. It's WSA Snocross, and we're at the Polaris Canterbury Snocross. Blair Morgan. He's had a great day so far, a winning day so far, and is in hopes that he's going to add just one more victory, and if he does, he can cross a major barrier in WSA records. As a result of the qualifying, here's the way it is. Blair, number 1 there, and old buddy Tucker is right there bugging him, but we're looking for that barrier.
That barrier is going to be huge. If he can win this one, it'll be his 50th win in a WSA final since WSA came on. This is his 85th start in a final. And I tell you, winning like he did that Pro Open race that was postponed from Deadwood set him up for this, to do this here. That's a hell of a milestone. It really is phenomenal.
A couple of these other guys, though, Ekstrom, LaValle, Tucker, they're not real interested in seeing that ground broken.
No, not at all, for a number of reasons. I don't think they care about the margin much. As we look at Mike Island, what they're concerned about is points and wins. End of story.
On the line, ready to run.
Keep an eye out for that Sport Tech Hole Shot Award, $250 from Sport Tech. But more importantly, just saying you had the best launch off the line. And here we go. We'll find out right now.
it's Morgan all the way. And they're confirming it's Morgan.
So Morgan picks up the whole shot. Well, that's just the way his day's been. Perfect.
And the way he likes them.
A little extra cheek never hurts. Here we come into that chop field. Look at the mess that they have. Oh, and Levi!
He's up. He's okay. Park workers are saying, why don't you get back away from that course?
Just grabbed him by the jersey and pulled him out of the corner there until the field went by. Smart move.
You saw Brad Pitlick. He's back in third now. Blair Morgan is leading it. And Levi finally gets it going.
He's got some damage, right? Look at that ski, that crash, bent some stuff in that left front corner of the suspension, and he's pretty much done.
Yeah, it is interesting to see what the sleds can take and can't as Levi tries to get it back going. Remember, he just center punched the hay bale and qualified. Got it going right away. I would have thought they would have caved the whole front end in.
And it's a matter of how you hit as well as how hard you hit sometimes. And you can have a fairly light impact, but if you hit it just right and stress things the wrong way, that's what can do it. Oh.
He's moving for the front, just took over third place. And now that fight for second, we mentioned Pitlick a moment ago. Pitlick's in trouble now.
That was another case of Hibbert went where Pitlick wanted to go, and Pitlick had committed to that line. Tucker got there first, and as he drove away, all the momentum that Pitlick had just fell over on him, and he couldn't stay with it.
You know, I don't remember an event with this much of this kind of trouble.
I really think, Paul, that it's a matter, as we look at Morgan out front and going away, it's a matter of the track. This artificial snow, as we see Tucker, and that's your margin for this battle, this artificial snow, as I said. Oh, no,
Tucker! What are you doing? Solid second, closing on his nemesis, Morgan the leader. Morgan is riding well, but he is also catching an incredible number of breaks.
Well, I think it goes back, as I was saying, to the track. One with the artificial snow. Oh! That's Amasalo! Tucker trying to figure that out. Amasalo apparently unsighted, Paul.
Setting sun's kind of like head on there, though.
Let's go back and see. We can first see what happened to Tucker. Everything looks good here. Oh, and it just rotated on him, and he realized it right away and let her go. Smart move not to try and ride that out. Right here, it just turns. You see that little lip? He caught a lip with that right ski, and it just started to roll the sled to the left, and off he went.
And the sun pretty low.
Oh, that's got to kill Hibbert to have Morgan go by and put a lap on him. Levi tried to get going and bend that ski, and it wouldn't work, so he's just sort of parked, cheering his teammate. That is now his teammate, Sean Crapo, along. And here comes Morgan, but again, just to finish what I say with the track, the artificial snow, when it isn't predictable and you get these sharp edges underneath it, but the track itself, Paul, it is so rough, it is so aggressive, and it is taking its toll. There is no rhythm to sections of it, and it's catching people out, whether it's an edge underneath or not. It's just a hard track to tame right now.
Tucker Hibbert just trying to stay out of the way there. As Blair Morgan had just an awesome event. But least we forget, quickly things can change. They don't normally change quickly for...
Oh, an island comes off. Exactly what we're talking about.
Done it.
There's just no predictability to this track. So Island, who's had a great couple of events back-to-back here, now has this problem. And let me put Morgan's day into perspective in terms of Morgan's team. Obviously, there are other classes that run here. Right now, if Morgan wins it, he gets the 50th win in a final. His teammate Kuster gives it a 1-2 sweep if Carl stays put. Morgan won the Deadwood race. He also won the pro stock race. His teammate, Steve Taylor, who runs in the semi-pro division, won the 2 races earlier in the weekend that he entered. And Amanda Johnson, who runs for Blair Morgan Racing, won the pro women class. So they could come out of here with an absolute sweep of this weekend in every category that Blair Morgan Racing is involved in. How awesome is
Not
that?
Shakopee, it's Morgantown.
Oh, it's unbelievable here. And of course you got Jamie Ansu at the helm, and Morgan, his input helping out these other riders, just incredible. And there's Carl Kuster. They call him King Carl for his success in Hillcross, and he's sitting second right now, looking to complete that sweep.
that they have in one direction, they're looking right into the sun. The other direction, the sun is highlighting the snow dust, making things very difficult here today. And that's when the master, Blair Morgan, seems to be even better.
Well, when you get a lower angle on the sun, one thing it does do, yeah, you're right, the snow dust is blinding when you drive away from it, the sun itself blinding when you go into it, but it does give you some good shadows, as you can see in those holes. So when you're driving along, you see white, and then you see a big hole and nothing, you know that's going to be a big hole coming up. Hey,
Ekstrom currently third place.
And just nothing he can do with what's going on up front right now. I mean, look at this. These guys working through some traffic going by Shabitsky and also Wolf. This is just an absolutely dominant display, certainly by Morgan, but by that team. Kind of justifies Canoe's decision to go after him and put this program together, I think.
Yeah, that was a majorly good call.
Just fun to watch him ride. Just and the thing is, when he knows he's got a big margin, he'll just take it back a notch, but he keeps quick enough so his focus stays. We went to Kuster in second. Here's Ekstrom back in third. Morgan just so easily reads not just the terrain, but the situation.
Top three, nicely separated. No battles in the top three as Blair Morgan working on the final lap now. One more corner, checker flag lies ahead to just top off a picture-perfect weekend for Blair Morgan.
That's a little celebration for Blair.
I was hoping for more. I was hoping for just a little more. Let's see what he does here. Here comes Ekstrom Cross in third place.
Well, just look at the chop over the stuff these guys have to deal with here. Ekstrom's going to get the podium. Not enough, but it's a pretty good run for him, obviously. And he'll be fairly pleased with that. But there they are, the sweep. 1-2, Pro Open.
With Blair Morgan as the winner and a fantastic weekend. Blair Morgan, his teammate, Ekstrom, then Ken Ispen, and Trevor John. We'll be right back at Canterbury. Well, now after 4 events, Blair Morgan is leading handily in Pro Open, looking very, very strong. Let's go down to Jerry Bernardo with our winner.
Blair Morgan, back-to-back victories here at Canterbury. Behind you, utter mayhem. The track was taking names. People were wadding and weeding while you weaved through the crowd.
Yeah, the track's so gnarly right now. There's huge holes everywhere. I just want to get a good start, get up front, and get away from everybody who's crashing. But Tucker's on me for a little while. I heard him there, and then he disappeared, and I lapped him, so he must have crashed hard.
The amazing thing about this weekend is you get out front right away with the awesome Ski-Doo hole shot, but how fast you come around and start lapping people.
Yeah, I think, you get hung up in the back, it's hard to make time, and when you have a clear track ahead of you, you can just ride your own lines and just give her. So, I'm happy. Ski-Doo is awesome. Won every single heat, every final this weekend, so can't say anything more.
And Jerry Bernardo is going to be in this play-by-play chair for the Yamaha Eastern Nationals. Here's the coverage times and dates. I am off, Mr. Kramer, assigned as host of the America's Cup.
Spending
all racing, though.
A little time in Kiwi land. That should be a lot of fun. Good for you. By the way, congratulations to Blair Morgan. 50 wins in only a little over 4 years of WSA. 50 finals wins out of 85 races. Remarkable achievement.
WSA Snocross is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information on WSA Snocross, log on to ESPN.com and join Greg and Jerry at Syracuse.